Alice, I have a wife.
Of your medication, it would be quite easy to lose consciousness and slip under the water. Imagine how upset Nick would be if you die.
What's wrong?
She won't live long, Nick, but I figured out a solution.
I had done a film for Millennium called Till Death with Megan a few years earlier, and they had acquired this script and they were developing it. And at some point, they thought I might be interesting to talk to see what my thoughts were on it. And yeah, I read the script and really kind of got when I got to the halfway mark and I saw the there was a scene where we kind of have the wife coming home and really discovering her being replaced. That to me was when I really started to fall in love with the script, and we started to develop it from there. And I thought April and Will had done such a great job on the script. And it was really just kind of, let's expand on these ideas, let's play with this and try different things. And it was a pretty quick kind of from there, rewriting, reworking it, and getting onto set. We kind of were jumping into the gun pretty quickly. We were prepping the film and we were discussing different names, and it's funny how much she didn't kind of come up at the start, and then at some point we kind of discussed it, and I thought, well, having these intimate scenes, and having worked with her before, there's a lot of trust there that you need for that and to create that environment. So I think once I kind of really started to think about that and think about other things as well, like I think there's a lot of things in here that remind me of Jennifer's Body, which is such a great film, and people love that and love her and in that film. So I kind of wanted to see another badass Megan kind of destructive path coming through and doing some fun things. So that was exciting to kind of do that. It's interesting because it is, like, to me, her performance was very vital in terms of creating something robotic that was exciting to watch and feeling unique, but also having enough emotion in there for the more intimate scenes that it didn't feel clunky or fall apart. So us finding that balance, it was really interesting. And she said this one thing very early on, which I really loved, which was that she wanted her physical performance to feel like a ballerina, and her movements to be slow and precise and stuff like that. So we really lent into that. And then it was, as we were kind of going down that path, and getting to that third act of glitching and craziness, that was exciting for me. I think that was more nerve-wracking for her, was and it was like, let's try things, let's try a take where you go completely crazy, and then one where we bring it back a bit. And so it was trying to find that balance in the editing of it later on, and seeing what works, how far can we push it, but keeping that groundedness, keeping the horror and the dread, pushing all the way to the end of that third act. Yeah, no, I think she's got a great skill for just switching it on and then switching it off, and I think that was important, like with the children, and making sure they felt comfortable, and were kind of felt like they were in a playful, sandbox to do it. And I think her and Michele and Madeline really helped kind of create a safe, warm environment for those children. But yeah, there's moments where you call cut and you kind of, everyone's just, and Megan's just laughing at the ridiculousness of something. One of my favorite bits of the film is there's a dinner sequence where Madeline's trying to serve, where Maggie, the wife, is trying to serve dinner, and just because she's come back from an operation, she can't. So Megan, helps her, and she asks her a question, and Maggie says, "Sorry, it's a family secret," and they just smile at each other, and I love the way they just do it. You don't need anything said, but there's something so fake behind Megan's smile as she turns her head and does it, that I would laugh behind the monitor. So yeah, those little bits there, it's fun. Like, doing a sci-fi movie like this and having like this AI sim, it does allow you to kind of play around with things in an exciting way. Yeah, and I think, like for me, um, the kind of contrasting Megan, knowing we had Megan as the robot, I think it was kind of then, all right, well, what can we do to make Maggie more interesting? And when we kind of found Madeline Zimmer, she had this innocence about her. She kind of, feels like the girl next door vibe that I thought was kind of polarizing in an interesting way. And I thought she kind of softened um, Nick's character a little bit more, having a wife like that, which I think was very necessary with stuff that was happening in the plot and everything like that. But it's so interesting because when we were casting this, because we were racing up to the shoot date, we actually had to lock in Matilda, the young girl in the film. We had to lock her in quicker than than the others, because for the safety benefits of working with children, you have to do so much paperwork and everything. So we kind of were told, you need to, and that was terrifying at the start, because it was like, well, we don't even know who's playing the father or the mother right now, and you're telling me I need to lock in the child. And obviously, as we lock that in, it's going to only give us a certain amount of flexibility in certain ways. But it was actually really freeing, because it was just focusing on who was the best child performance that we could direct and get what we needed and everything like that. So it allowed us to really kind of free ourselves up and be like, really analyze who we thought was great. And Matilda first she was just, amazing from the get-go. I think shooting shorts, it was so beneficial to my career now, because we just had a group of friends that were getting together on a weekend and shooting something. So I was kind of taking charge of directing the cinematography. I was doing catering, I was doing everything on set. And then then you get into the editing. I was editing it myself. I was doing all the visual effects myself, watching YouTube tutorials and seeing what I could do. And all that benefits you when you get on a film set and you need to understand what everyone's job and position is. You suddenly have incredibly experienced people on set, but if you don't know how to utilize them, you're not going to get what you want out of it. So knowing what everyone's job was, knowing not just what their job was, but their limitations and where they could push things and try things out and stuff like that, I think it's vital. And so I would say, if you're doing a short film, try to take on as many of those positions as possible, because you will learn from those mistakes. You learn from everything that you do wrong when it's you personally doing that. It's easy to kind of get an editor to come in and do something, and you're like, well, you've screwed it up. But when you're editing it yourself and you realize, oh no, I screwed it up while I was on set and I didn't get that shot that I needed, or I didn't hold on a take for as long as I wanted. I think all that stuff is so beneficial once you actually get on a feature film. Um, I think if Alice can control other Sims, and if she kind of starts to evolve that control, she could probably win that fight by bringing some teammates into that ring to help her out. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Maybe if I had your heart, you would love me the way he loves you.